Hi readers, it's Lori. Welcome back to my channel, Books, Ink, and Paper. Today is To Read or Not to Read Day. I've created a stack of books that I really need to focus on and ensure that I am going to keep them. I do this every month. It's a series I do, and it's an effort to just really be intentional about the books I'm keeping and intending to read them rather than just kind of adding them and leaving them on my shelf. Here we go. I have picked 5 today. So the first book on my list is The Elegance of the Hedgehog by Muriel Barbery. This is translated by Allison Anderson, which is fun because I have a friend named Allison Anderson. So this is written in a hotel in Paris. Renee is the concierge. She's an interesting woman. She is in a posh Parisian neighborhood in a bourgeois building. She's a ferocious autodidact who devours art, philosophy, music, Japanese culture, and also scrutinizes the lives of the building's tenants. And then there's Paloma, who's a 12-year-old living in the hotel building on the 5th floor. And she has decided to end her own life on the day of her 13th birthday. But then until then, she's just kind of hanging out until that happens and not letting on that anyone that that's what she intends to do. So it's the story of the two of them together in some way, and their new tenant, a wealthy Japanese man named Ozu, who befriends them and sees beneath them. It says it's a moving, witty, and redemptive novel that exalts the quiet victories of the inconspicuous among us. So we got this in Peoria Heights, Illinois at I Know You Like a Book, which I do love that shop. I hope it's still open. Gosh, I hope it's still open. We got it in 2014. So it's been on my shelf for a number of years now. This is 2020. If you're watching this in the future. And this was published in 2006 in Paris, and in the Europa edition, which is this one, in 2008. So it's a good ways in the past that this came out. I mean, it sounds interesting. It's probably why we bought it, right? Like Water for Chocolate by Laura Esquerel is a book I got some time ago. You can tell at the library book sale. This was made into a movie, I'm pretty sure, but I don't think I've ever seen it. It is, I don't remember, it was a #1 bestseller in Mexico. I don't remember if it was, I think she wrote it in English. I don't think it's translated. She's originally a screenwriter and lives in Mexico. So this is the story of Tita, who is the novel's narrator. She's the youngest of 3 daughters, and it is actually month by month by month. So I think it's a whole year this novel spans. I've heard it is pretty quick. It's about motherhood, family, food, and community and connection. And there are some recipes, and I know a lot of people who really love this novel. I do love a novel that spans a year in the life, so to speak, and I am really wanting to read books that are set in different countries. So there's one in Paris, there's one in Mexico. So next we have The Power of One by Bruce Courtenay. This is actually set in South Africa, I think, yes, as the seeds of apartheid are taking root. In 1939, a boy called PK is born, and his childhood is marked by humiliation, abandonment, and yet he vows to survive and conceives heroic dreams. He will learn the power of words, the power to transform lives, and the power of one. This was also made into a film, which is why I got it. I have not seen it. I enjoy the cover. New York Times said it has everything: suspense, exotic, violence, mysticism, psychology, magic, schoolboy adventures, and drama. My librarian recommended this book to me, and she's almost never steered me wrong. I don't think she's ever. There was one book she recommended to me when I was in a book slump, which was Everything, Everything. No. The Sun. I read Everything, Everything. The Sun. The Sun is also a star, right? Yeah. Didn't finish it, but it wasn't horrible. I just didn't finish it. I was in a slump. So the next two are kind of correlated. The Kingmaker's Daughter and The White Queen by Philippa Gregory. When I started collecting these, I got them on sale, and it was my intention to read the whole series. That was my intention. Or The White Queen is before The Red Queen. Let me see if I can figure out the order of these. That's going to be important because I don't want to have to find a bunch of these, and I'd like to know how many there are and if either one of these are the first. Okay, so The White Queen is book one. Apparently there's two series that are, it's very confusing. There are two series. One is called The Cousins' War and one is called The Tudor Novels. And some of them, I guess, overlap. So there's a whole book that just helps you to understand in what order to read Philippa Gregory. So that's already complicating things for me. So The White Queen is The Cousins' War 1 and The Tudor Novels 2. So that's a possibility. And then The Kingmaker's Daughter is The Cousins' War 4. So this would be some time back. I did start this one once on audio, and I had a lot of difficulty with it. But that was a long time ago when I was having difficulty with audio reading, if you will, although my son never calls it reading. All right, let's start with The Elegance of the Hedgehog. What I love about this is it's set in Paris, so an escape, which is good now when we can't leave our house to imagine that we're somewhere else. I like the premise of the story with Renee, the concierge, and Paloma, the 12-year-old, and then Azu, the connection between the three of them. It's got great reviews inside of the novel. It is a New York Times bestseller, or was. It has a 3.77 star rating on Goodreads, which is great, and it is a French author. I do like the cover. I think I'm going to keep this. I do see myself reading this. I could then go to Mexico and could get through this novel in monthly installments, and it says it also has home remedies, so that would be great. They've had this a really long time. It has the old stamp sticker on it. Goodness sakes. When was this published? Yeah, it has the old piece inside. Okay, this was also translated by Carol Christensen and Thomas Christensen, published by Doubleday in 1950? Really? And then 1992, it was republished. Huh. I don't guess I realized it was that old. All right. Yes, I am going to keep this, and I do think I'm going to read this. It would be a good distraction read, too. I could travel to Mexico really quickly and be distracted from not being able to leave the house. We thought we were going to leave the house, right? We thought things were getting better. And now we have record high cases. The Power of One. Historical fiction. You know I love that. This one was marked up a little bit, looks like. So it's not in great shape. Story of a boy, written by a male author, which I'm trying to get a little bit better at reading. Let me read the first chapter. I think that's, or the first, not maybe the first chapter, but the first paragraph or so. This is what happened. Before my life started properly, I was doing the usual mewling and sucking, which in my case occurred on a pair of huge, soft black breasts. In the African tradition, I continued to suckle for my first 2.5 years, after which my Zulu wet nurse became my nanny. She was a person made for laughter, warmth, and softness, and she would clasp me to her breast and stroke my golden curls with a hand so large it seemed to palm my whole head. My hurts were soothed with a song about a brave young warrior hunting a lion, and a woman's song about doing the washing down on the big rock beside the river, where at sunset the baboons would come out of the hills to drink. My life proper started at the age of 5, when my mother had her nervous breakdown. I was torn from my lovely black nanny with her big white smile and sent to boarding school. Isn't that interesting, especially given the times we find ourselves in, and this discussion about slavery and origins and racism, and this could either be really a great timely read or a really difficult read. When was this published? 1989. This one was copyrighted in 2008. I'm very curious about this book. And 4.35 stars, The Power of One gets. Tribal superstition and modern prejudice. Yeah. A couple of friends of mine gave it 5 stars. Okay. Yeah. I'm going to finish this. I'm going to read this. I'm going to keep this. All right. These, they just feel heavy even thinking about them. They really, really do. Again, let's kind of look at the ratings here. The ratings of The White Queen are 3.93. Again, historical fiction. Synopsis is: brother turns on brother. The throne of England is at stake. The deadly Wars of the Roses have begun. You know, I love England and I love English history. I know very little, though, about this period of time in English history. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to wait, and I'm going to ask you, and I'm going to ask others who I know, because nobody that I know intimately that I can ask about it has read it. One person I know just on Goodreads gave it 1 star. But overall, this has 3.93. The Kingmaker's Daughter has 3.98. So they both have good ratings. Also, they would have been read and rated well by people who love this kind of detailed historical English fiction, or historical fiction based on English history. That's what this is, not English fiction. Okay, I'm going to ask you to weigh in and tell me whether you think that these would be good reads if you've read them, or whether you think I should keep them, because I'm really not sure what to do. I'm also going to reach out to a friend of mine that I know has read this series and ask her more about it so that I can understand if this is something I want to keep and someday take a look at. I'll do a Instagram and Facebook poll to see if anyone there can tell me their experiences with this series, and then I will come back next month and decide whether or not to keep these. So there's still a maybe. Maybe I'll keep, maybe I won't, but I need more information. So that's where I am with that. So out of the 5, I'm definitely keeping 3. I'm not sure about these 2. That's where I am. So I will appreciate your comments and your help in making this decision. And if you've read any of the other ones, I'd appreciate learning about that too. The Power of One may be getting to the top of my list over the others, just because it is kind of a timely read right now, I would say. Might be a good read for me to take on with everything that's kind of happening now, and reflecting on what happened then and how it contributed to what's happening now is something I've been doing a lot of. Yeah, okay, I feel good about that. So thanks again for being with me today and for taking a look at these books that have been on my shelf for a while and considering with me whether these are books that you would keep or not keep, read or not read. It's always fascinating to me to kind of forget about a book for a while and then take a look and decide, oh, is this really exciting me? Is this something I really want to take a look at? And it's nice when I discover that I still do. I hope you are enjoying whatever it is that you're reading today and that you're having a very happy reading day. Bye.